Hello, everybody. This is our part 2 video for Mainstage. What I'm going to go through today is setting up a concert from scratch with 2 keyboards. Remember, you can basically have as many as you want. So I'm going to get started now. I've taken a blank template here. You can use one of your own concerts or one of the minimal ones that are included as templates, and basically you just want to delete everything. So I'm left with this. My 2 keyboards I have for today are a 61 key M Audio Axiom and a 25 key Korg Nano Key. The Nano Key is really cool. It's tiny, very thin. You can almost put it in your pocket, definitely in a backpack or what have you. And I would definitely recommend it if you are the kind of keyboard player who finds themselves wanting to mess with things or get some ideas down, or if you're on the airplane or in the bus, you can be working on your set for that show that evening or whatever really with it. Okay, so first thing, you want to plug everything in. I have 3 USBs going right now. I have an interface, 2 keyboards. Sometimes I have 3 keyboards interface. Sometimes it's FireWire, whatever. My computer has 2 USB ports, so I'm running a powered USB hub to support everything. All right, so first thing we got to do is add. Right now we have a blank screen, so we need to add our 2 keyboards. So I go to shelf controls and I see keyboard, just drag it there. Now you're going to see keyboard layers here. If you're layering your patches, they will come up like that if you want to see them. I personally don't really care, so I'm going to go and disable the display keyboard layers. Okay, this is my Axiom. You name it whatever you want. It is 61 keys, so I will go ahead and leave that. And all I'm going to do now is hit assign, touch the keyboard, and you'll see it popped up Axiom. Hit assign again to take it off. I'm going to add my little Korg micro, same thing. I'm going to take away display keyboard layers. Korg Nano Key 2. Now this one's 25 keys, so I'm going to change that to 25 keys. And as you'll see, the keyboard is now tiny. Hit assign, touch a couple keys, you'll see it shows up. Hit assign again to take it off. All right, now I'm going to add a couple other controls that we will assign and then show you what cool things we can do with them later. As you see, I already have a sustain pedal and a foot pedal, which is my expression, which we're going to get into today. One thing I want to do is be able to change patches. I think we went through this last time, but in case you haven't watched the video, I want to be able to change patches without having to touch my computer. My whole goal is not to have to touch my computer during my set at all if I don't have to. So same thing, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to use the fast forward and rewind keys on my controller. I hit assign, hit fast forward, you'll see it pops up. Click the other one, hit rewind, you'll see it pops up, and I hit assign again to turn it off. All right, so now I have my keys assigned for that. Group controls, I'm going to add some knobs here just in case we want to get into that, and I'll assign a couple of them. So we'll assign this one to a knob on here. I'll assign this one to a knob on here. All right, so you'll see we're assigned to our knobs. We can change our channel. We can change if it's a press release or note on and off or absolute or relative control. You can change the MIDI control number that you're using if you have to send the value anywhere. So you can really customize everything. Let's add a couple buttons here. I'm going to add a button for tap tempo. So I will assign that to a drum pad. And I'll add a button for something else. just in case. All right, so I have my 2 buttons there, and let's get started on making some cool patches. All right, so we're gonna go to edit, make sure we're on workspace, and you'll see I don't have anything here. So I'm going to do a new patch with channel strip. And what we're gonna do now, I play a lot of reggae, so I'm gonna show you how I would set up a reggae split using the common patches you would need, which is your organ bubble, your piano bang, and then maybe something on top like a synth or some strings or another organ. So we're just gonna call this patch rhythm. We are gonna use 3 channel strips. Actually, let's make it 4. And don't worry about the MIDI output now, we will assign that. And we want them to be instrument. Okay, now if you look to our right, we have our 4 instrument tracks. I'm gonna go ahead and click up here and add a aux channel strip because I want to show you some fun with effects. All right, so on my aux, you see we have our signal flow here. Expression up top, 0 to 127, which are our MIDI numbers, which gives us 128 total. We're gonna leave the EQ as is. Our input, we're gonna make bus 1. And then my audio effects, we'll do a tape delay. And I think I have a preset I can just use. All right, so we'll check out this dub preset I have here. All right, I'm gonna go down, double click here, rename this to delay. All right, so I said I wanted a organ bubble. So we'll name that bubble. This is gonna be my piano bang. And let's say we do a synth. And let's say on our top keyboard, we want to split it also and do some kind of sample. Okay, so first thing is my bubble. It's gonna be my bottom keyboard. Now, remember we have to assign which instrument is going to which keyboard first. So when I click on bubble, I want to go down here to MIDI input, and it's on my axiom, perfect. Now if you see filter here, what filter does is if you have it checked off, it filters that MIDI command. And so let's say for the bubble and bang on the same keyboard, I might want to sustain my piano and I don't want to sustain the bubble, let's say. So if that's the case, I want to click sustain. And then on tracks, I don't use the expression pedal. I always check off expression on. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. All right, so if you see here, you can go down to channel strip library and you can select some of our presets from there, right? So I just showed you how that loads. Lots of really cool presets we have, all directly from Logic. So if we look here, it's put channel, EQ, compressor, tape delay. I don't really want any of that on there. I just wanted to show you the preset and how it works. Now if I click on settings here, it gives me access to the same menu. I'm gonna click reset. All right, so I go to input and I'm gonna use ES2 for my organ bubble, which I have a preset I made for. Always remember to save your presets just quickly. If I click here, factory default, I can do save as load, however I want. I'm gonna go to bubble And let's see what this sounds like. All right, so that's where I want my octave, which is up here, to be. So I need to raise it an octave. So once again, once I'm clicked on the channel strip, I go to MIDI input and I see transpose down here. I'm gonna take it up an octave. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna go to my bang, and for now, we're just gonna keep using Logic instruments. Acoustic piano, and we'll just load the Yamaha. Okay, now. Now you see we have our piano and we have our organ, and they're overlapping. So if we go to layer editor down here, you can see all the layers. Now you see my sample and synth are on there still. We haven't switched them to the other keyboard yet. So the two layers I want to work with are the bubble and bang. Now doing a split is going to be as easy as just dragging to where you want it. So I'm going to drag the low range. You can also go down here and just choose the key, or you can hit learn. So graphically we can drag, I can hit learn and then hit where I want my piano to start, which is there. The high key is fine. My bubble, the low key obviously is fine. And my high key right there. All right, so learn is always great. All you have to do is touch the key, excuse me. All right, so now, all right, so I want to take my bang down an octave. So we will transpose down 12. All right, so now I have my split created. All right. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, well, what am I going to do with an interface with a stereo out or mono output or going out my headphone jack? What am I going to do to be able to mix these instruments better? So you can always mix it yourself and go out mono or stereo, depending on the gig. What I like to do is when the channels are available, I hook up an interface with 8 outputs, and I just assign everything to a different output. If you go to here to output, when you have your interface hooked up, you'll be able to choose the different outputs. Alternatively, you could have aux channels with outputs and just send the channel to that aux. All right. Now let's get into the top keyboard. So synth, MIDI input, now I have to change it to nano key, and my sample I'm changing to nano key. All right, so let's go to layer editor, sample. I just want, let's say, maybe from the low C to G. And then the synth is going to be high key. All right, so you see here's my 25 keys. Now I can have as many channel strips as I want. Some sets I've done, I literally have something on one key. I might have 5, 6, 7 channel strips, all with different instruments, depending on how I need. Because if you think about it, a lot of times if you're playing a horn line, you only need maybe, depending on the horn line, 1 or 2 octaves to play it, maybe even 3 octaves, let's say, and you have a 61 key keyboard. You know, that's only basically half your keyboard used. So you have that whole other half where you can put things, which allows you to, you know, compress what you normally travel with or use into a smaller package. All right. So our synth, I'm not really going to go through any sounds here. We're just going to go to EXS24. And I'm just going to go to synthesizer. And let's do a synth string. Okay. Kind of loud. Turn that down some. Alright, so we have our synth. Now if I click my sample stuff, there's still nothing there. We're going to go ahead and go to sample. I'm going to pick Ultra Beat. And Ultra Beat, if you use Logic, I'm sure you're very familiar with it. My best place really to start, unless you need all their drum samples, is going to be a drag and drop samples kit. That gives you a totally empty sample set to work with. And if I hit my C key here, you can see we're right here, sample 13. I can go and load a sample. I don't even know what samples these are, but for right now, let's say we want to clap. I'm going to go ahead and extend the envelope so I can just hit it once. All right, we have a clap. I'm going to lower the volume here. All right, so I have clap, synth, piano, organ. All right, so now you see how everything is separated. If I had a 4 output interface hooked up, I would be able to just assign everything to different outputs so the engineer can mix. All right, we are going to add a tap tempo here for our delay that we previously talked about. So I've already signed the button I want. And you see it has a little exclamation point there, which means it's there, but it's not assigned to do anything. So I can either click map parameter and then go to whatever plugin or whatever I need to have it map, or for a case of an action like a tap tempo, I just go there, scroll to tap tempo, and you'll see as I hit my drum pad, I assigned it to in the layout window. It's showing me my tempo and changing it. All right, so now we're going to assign our delay send to our bang channel. So if we look over here, I'm in bus 1 for my tape delay. So I'm going to go to bus 1, delay. Keep in mind, if we're doing this for an effect send, usually we're going to want post fader, not pre-fader. If you're not very familiar with post fader and pre-fader, just right quick. Pre-fader is going to give you the signal at the beginning of your channel strip. So it's going to be right after your input. So it's not going to have any effects. It's not going to take into account any volume control you've done, any EQing or anything. So we want to do post fader usually. So we have that all taken into account when we're sending it to our delay, reverb, whatever, send you're using. All right, when I click on, I want my expression pedal here to be what is going to control my effect send level on my bang. So I don't need to use hands to do anything. Both my hands are already going to be busy playing. So I hit map parameter and I just go and touch our level controller. It's going to go from -infinity to +6. I really don't want it to go up to +6 because that's really high. Going to be too loud, so we'll maybe do like -0.2 or something. You can play with it. All right, so that's saved now. So anytime I do this on this patch, if I create another patch, it's not going to be the same thing necessarily. If you want it to always be the same, and you have, always are going to have a bubble and bang, let's say, on every patch, we can go to our concert and create our bubble and bang at a concert level, which means any patch we create below it is automatically always going to have that bubble and bang or anything you create at the concert level. Next video, we will get more into concert level. Okay, so now piano. All right, so piano now. You see, dry, affected. And now you see my tap tempo also comes into play here. I'm gonna move over so we get to the delay. All right, so our delay is right here. Now if I change my tap tempo, say I make it faster. All right. So I can just adjust that based on the song I'm at. Now you see if I change the tap tempo while delay is happening, it's gonna give me that cool tape delay effect. All right, so that is how we add a aux send with an effect, in this case tape delay, and how we can use our tap tempo as the delay is a time-based effect. All right, let's say I might want to have a pad to mute something. Very easily, I can do the same kind of thing. I hit the pad, I hit map parameter, and let's say I want it to be a mute on my bubble. Just to do it, I hit mute. Now you see here it says mute muted, hit map again. Now my save value, I don't want muted. So I will invert parameter range. All right, so mute, unmute. Now if I hit the button, it's gonna mute and unmute. Cool. All right, let's try something a little fun. Right quick, we're gonna assign a couple of these buttons to our piano. Cool little trick I like for some dub effects. So the first knob, map parameter to our cutoff. The second knob, we're gonna map to resonance. Okay, I'm gonna hit map to turn it off. Looks like the first one didn't take. Let's try it again. Cutoff. All right, now we're good. So we see here, I have my filter cutoff and filter resonance. And I can go and play with the knobs and adjust, to wherever I want. So if I'm playing, I can do something like this. All right, so you see, I'm back to my just regular piano. So all that is a piano with the delay, filter resonance all the way up, and then messing with the cutoff. And then messing with tap tempo. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff you can do to get different effects. Okay. So you see I got everything there. If I want to create another patch, I just go here, new patch with channel strip. I do the same thing over and over again until I'm done. Next time we're going to get into some more advanced assignments and mappings and how to create patches at the concert level, which can really help you if you're going to have certain things that are going to stay the same throughout the whole concert. Thanks, guys. Appreciate watching. If you have any questions, just message me.